What's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Saturday to you guys. I was sitting here reading my morning scriptures and I was thinking about the theaters, the future of theaters, man. Um, it is kind of shaky. This ain't got nothing to do with Netflix and Warner Brothers because I think it runs deeper than that. I think that Netflix and Warner Brothers merging, uh, kind of got uh, that thing going more, but it was way before that, and that's something that I think a lot of people need to start realizing. But my thing is, the future of theaters, it don't look good. I'm thinking, my personal view, that I'm thinking that if it doesn't get any better, and next couple years, then you'll see a lot of them shut down, and you'll see a lot of them downsizing. Let's just say downsizing. Let's say, for instance, if you have you have a area where there's small towns where maybe the small towns will have to drive like an hour away just to go see a movie because they can't function on having these theaters open if they're not gonna have no they ain't gonna have nobody you ain't gonna have nobody coming in there. You gotta have uh you gotta have people coming in there, man. You gotta have, but you gotta have people coming in there. I forgot the word I was going to use for that, but you got to have traffic. Theaters need traffic, and like I said before, a lot of people are on this hype train with the Disney and Warner Bros. Thing, but you got to understand it's been a while. This been going on for a while, and you have people constantly talking about Netflix and Warner Brothers, but you know it's been deeper than that because for the simple reason that a lot of times you've had a lot of people that was like, there was people just, back in the day when you had this 17-day window thing going on, where they have movies come out in 17 days, it's on the streaming services. Or the streaming services, people don't want to go to the movies, they'll just wait till it drops on streaming. So you have that. And then, bottom line, you also have where some people just don't want to go to the movies anymore. I don't go to the movies anymore like I used to. You know why I don't go to the movies like I used to? Because there's a lot of movies out there that I just don't want to watch. There's a lot of movies out there that I watch that a lot of people won't watch. I go to a lot of theaters. Sometimes I go to the theater and I'm like, ain't nobody hardly in here to watch this movie. And then when later on I might get online, I see a lot of people thought that movie sucked. So that's a lot of that. There's a lot of movies that other people see that I don't want to see. And one, you got to understand it was the COVID thing that really affected. I'm telling you, it's been one thing after another. You had the COVID thing, and then you had all the theaters were shut down, and then you had what else did you have? You had the qualities of movies were terrible. Just the other day, man, and I'm just speaking this for myself because I got to start. Because when I upload these videos, man, I got to start, going how I feel. So anyway, the other day I was happened to turn on my TV because a lot of times my TV don't come on until sometimes 12 or 1 o'clock. But then I'm at work most of the time, so I seen where somebody said that gaming journals, there's these gaming people that's got this site saying that they want more politics into the video games. I don't want politics in video games. I don't, a lot of us don't want to be preached to. A lot of us don't want stuff. Take, for instance, Stranger Things. And I'm just jumping around to show you how people think. When that coming out scene, the LGBT community thought that that was more of a, they shoehorned that in there or they kind of like never did it right. They could have done that a lot different. So the reason why I'm using these scenarios is because this is a lot of stuff that's been going on in the movie industry and the gaming industry because no, we just want to go see a movie. And just when I was touching on those things, it's just the way things are written and the way that they're like being put out there. It's just not, I don't know the word. It's just not, it's just not done right. And then when you're a viewer and you're looking at these things, you're like, what the heck, And so uh, a lot of that has been going on in the past few years. You had, a lot of us wanted to go see all these superhero hero movies, and they started throwing politics in there. Um, a lot of movies that you got now just got so much crap in it that it turned a lot of people off from going and seeing a lot of movies. So, this is much more bigger than, uh, you know, Netflix and Warner Brothers hooking up. If that goes through. And I remember, I don't know the name of that company, but there was a company that had oh like I said, they had that 17-day window. Then you turned around, and then you had you had the strike. The strike hurt a lot of movie industries too, because the strike just you know they wanted more money, and then everything was on hold because of the strike, and then it's just so much involved in how the movie industry has taken the toll on going to the theater. And you know people talk about the price, but I don't really, when I want to go somewhere. I mean, here's the thing about me. If I want to go somewhere, right, let's say I don't go to football games at all, right? So let me just throw this out there. If I had, you know let's just say I want to go to let's say I like Miami Hurricanes, I like Ohio State, and then that's college. And then I like the 49ers. Let's say hypothetically, I had a chance to go one of those football games, and I call them up and they say, hey, yeah, man, you can go. I got this seat for you. It's like, $200 for this section, or if you want this one section, I got nice seats for 350. How many people? And I'd say, well, I got five. And they say, and they add it up, and I go, all right, I'll buy it. If I want to do something, you guys, I'll just go ahead and do it. It's a one-time event, and it's like I'm not gonna go every week. So if I drop a couple $1,000s for a 5-hour event and I had fun with my friends and we went out and had dinner afterwards, it's just something that I can sit back and say I had fun with. So when I go to the theater and I spend, I don't know, I don't go to theaters that much because my kids are all grown. And then when I went back in the day a lot, I went a lot, but I didn't go a lot. It's just that there were so many movies back then that I went. The kids was little. They were good movies. There was nothing in those movies. Now I'm not gonna touch bases about there wasn't nothing in those movies. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But I like to go to a movie and just go see a movie. No, I don't want to watch two chicks making out, and no, I don't want to watch two dudes making out. And if I go to movies and I sit there and I'm watching that, I'm like, oh man, I didn't see this coming. I'm like, dang, man, I can't fast forward it. I'm stuck in the theater. I'm like, dang, man, I can't even. One time my daughter was with me. She goes, you want to get up and leave, don't you? I said, yeah. But I went and watched the rest of the movie, and it was a good movie, but they had to throw a couple things in I didn't care for. But besides all that, this has been it's been brewing. There you go, brewing. It's like a volcano. You're looking at the volcano and it's doing a lot of stuff, and you got these experts coming in and they're trying to tell people maybe you need to evacuate, maybe not. People don't want to evacuate because they've been dealing with this thing for a long time, but it's going to blow, but we don't know when it's going to blow. And then when it does blow, it just destroys everything. Well, that's what's going on with the movie industry. It's been brewing and brewing and brewing. It's the strikes. It was the COVID thing, and then it was the strikes, and then no, it was the COVID thing, and then it was the movie industries had everything. All the companies couldn't make movies. Everything, all the filming was stopped, and then you had to deal with that, and then you had to deal with all the political stuff that was in movies. All the political. There was political stuff. There was messaging. There was. The other stuff that I don't want to cover. And so this has been brewing. And then you had the streaming services that was trying to take full advantage of all that downtime when they had all that, everybody's stuck at home. Streaming services, pumped a lot of money into streaming services. And they started making, and then, people subscribed because they were stuck at home. Uh, you know, it was just a little bit of everything, you guys. Um, a lot of people going to end up, I think a lot of, are you going to end up, uh, are you going to try to take advantage of these theaters, or are you going to end up crying? Are you going to end up crying? Because you could end up crying in the long run. A lot of us might start missing it, and we'd be like, dang, man, I missed the theater. I missed just going to the theater and stuff. Or some people's like, I can't go, man, because they shut ours down because it wasn't making enough money. And the only one I can go to is, companies are smart. They'll be like, okay, let's just say Cinemark and AMC, and I forgot to name it, some of the other ones, right? And they go, all right, okay, so I live in Ohio, so let's just say that they take and put, they in the whole state of Ohio, they shut down, like, let's just say hypothetically there's like 500 theaters in Ohio. I don't know how many's in Ohio. I'm just using this as an example. They take 500 or 600 theaters that's in the state of Ohio, or 1,000, and then trim it down to 200. That means everybody has to travel a distance to go see a movie. So I'm just using that as an example. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying that they're going to shut them all down. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying that if it doesn't get any better, are we going to be crying? Because some of us are going to be crying, not crying like, I'm talking about we're going to be crying because some of us are going to start missing the theater. And, I really would like for them to go back to just the 45. I like the old school. I would. I'd just be like, I would tell the companies, like, yeah, but we're losing money. Just hold on. Hold on. Let's just do the 45-minute window. And then let's do the, let's do the rent. Let's have the digital thing. You can buy digital and rental. And then we'll release it as a period of time as buying it in physical, and then we can put it on the streaming service. That's what I would do, because at the end of the day, they're going to get their money back. Somebody wants to watch that movie, they're going to watch it. But a lot of companies be like, I got to make that money back. I can't do that. That's like when they had that 17-day window. I think that 17-day window, I forgot the name of that company that did that. Netflix didn't have nothing to do with that. Warner Brothers did that. I think that was Universal or somebody that did the 17-day window. And then everybody else started doing 17-day window. I think there was only one company that did the 45-day window. And also, a lot of movies that are coming out, sometimes we got trained eyes. We've been looking at a lot of movies. A lot of us will go, man, that looks like that should be on streaming. So a lot of times we won't go watch it. You see what I mean? So we think, man, that's a streaming service movie, So you won't go see that. So, and then taking, for instance, man, how many movies do you go see? Like, for instance, as much as I like movies, I hardly ever watch anything on TV. I watch it, like, when I get done with my whole day, I have less than an hour or two to watch movies. And I have to usually switch between playing a video game or watching a movie. And so, as far as buying physicals, I love buying physicals, but I'm slowing down on buying physicals because I just I don't like all that shelf space. So I'm all about supporting the theater. But the question is, are theaters going to be around the next 4 or 5 years, or are they going to downside, or are a lot of us going to be crying? Because we got to support them theaters, man. And I think there's a lot of bangers coming out this year. And, the theaters, they make their money off these movies. So there's a lot of things that they could do. They could either stop putting in so many messages, stop making these crappy movies that a lot of us don't care for. We've been telling people, a lot of people that goes to the movies have been saying, we don't want to go be preached to. We don't want to, y'all know all the stuff that's been going on. I should not have to cover all that. The stuff that's been going on since this. So in order to just channel, which is kind of silly, this is really silly, the channel into well, let me just find this topic to just like you can find traction on YouTube by just keep talking about Warner Brothers and Netflix. It is way deeper than Warner Brothers and Netflix, you guys. This has been brewing. This has been brewing, and it's starting to come to a head. So I hope that the movie industry. I like the theatrical experience. I really do. I love it, man. I'm going to go see a movie next week, Lord willing. I'm going to see a movie next week, and then I'm gonna go see uh, another movie in March. Thinking I'm gonna see a movie in April. So I got like movies I'm gonna go see, but I don't see. I don't go see movies like I used to because I just don't. Like a lot of people think I like. That's all I do is watch TV and watch movies. No, that is not what I do, at all. Not even a little bit. Here it is. It's almost 12 o'clock. Last week I was thinking about how I turned this TV on. As much as I invested money into this television is not even a year old yet. It'll be a year old here in about 3 more months. But the thing is, um, no, it'll be a year old about 6 more months. But the thing is that out of all the movies I have and all the stuff I have, this has just been from the time I was a little kid. I was like, oh man, I love that movie, and that's how we collect movies. You know, you have a nostalgia with a lot of movies, so when you look like you have a lot of movies, it's just movies that you seen when you were younger, or when you was in your 20s, or when you was in your teens, or when you was in your 30s or 40s, or how old you might be. So, but far as theatrical experience, man, I love theatrical experience. I haven't really had any bad experience in theatrical experience at all. You know, going to the movies. I had a couple of occasions, but it wasn't nothing major. So, uh, I like going to the theater. Like sometimes they got like a 12 o'clock, a 10 o'clock showing or something like that. I go to 10 a.m. Ain't that many people in there. Depends on how big. Now, one time I went to go see Endgame, and it was early in the morning. And that's before they had signed seating. So I actually got up and got to the parking lot, and there was 6 people before that theater opened up. This was Endgame, and this before Cinemark had assigned seatings because I think they end up going in there doing some work in the Cinemark in my area, and they end up doing assigned seating, which was pretty cool. But I remember pulling in the parking lot. I was like, "What the?" Because it was early. I didn't think it, but it was in game, right? And then uh, I got out the car. I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stand in line." So I stood in line, and that's before that I was able to get my seat and everything. But when I pulled up, man, then I just started seeing everybody pulling up, and it was kind of funny, man. We all stand outside, and then they unlock the door, and got your tickets and all that kind of stuff. But now you don't have to worry about that. You can just get on your phone and get your ticket online. So it was pretty cool being in there watching that, man. I went and seen Endgame twice, man. So I love the theatrical experience, you guys. I really do, and I hope that somehow these theaters can thrive and survive. Yeah. I don't want to see in the next future people crying because the theaters are no longer around or there's only a few of them and you have to travel. Travel a long way to go see a movie because they have to do it. So hopefully there's a turnaround. So it's just something off the top I wanted to talk about. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoying your New Year's. I hope your New Year's was good, and this is January the 3rd, and I gotta go back to work. I've been off work for a while. So anyway, what do you guys think? You think the theatrical experience is gonna be do you like the theatrical experience? I do. And like I said, I told you before, I just literally said it all started with the COVID thing. Then it started with, all the movie industry, all the movies, Hollywood and all the places were shut down because you couldn't film because COVID. And then, you had the qualities of movies that, you had you had all the stuff that they was trying to shoehorn in movies, and they was trying to force stuff in, cram stuff down in your face, and they was trying to preach to you and stuff. And then and then the movies just started getting worse and worse and worse. They started doing even the race swapping thing. Me being a black man, because I'm just I'm just old school. I just think you should keep the characters the same. If you want to race swap, just make a new character. Just come up with some fresh stuff. Remakes. People are tired of remakes. People are tired of taking old IP. Video games the same way. You know, people talk about video games and just keep remaking old games. But you know, a lot of us like old games. But I know I'm jumping around here. I'm just trying to give you ideas of why I think sometimes it's now you got everybody getting on the hype train of Warner Brothers Netflix. It'd be kind of funny if Netflix make announcements like, "Hey, we pulled out. Y'all have a good day, and we're no longer going to even further comment on this subject. Y'all have at it." Then you'll see everybody online. Oh, praise the Lord, hallelujah! Oh, we get our games, we can watch physicals and stuff. It ain't gonna help you none. It ain't gonna help you none because so many people being programmed to buy. You know, it's so easy to get on your remote, hit buy and all that stuff and digital and stuff. And like I said, it's been a whole list of things that's just been happening over the years that's just causing this, you know. And Warner Brothers, Netflix, that's just tip of the iceberg. And you don't even know what that's going to go through. But, you know, if I worked at Netflix, I say, man, why don't we just pull out? You know, just pull out. Let them idiots argue amongst themselves, even all the people on YouTube, man. And then when the news come up to us as a company, they can get on there and says Netflix had no comment why they pulled out. Now you'll have all these theories on YouTube like, oh, I hope what's your name buys it, or I hope what's your name buys it, blah blah, and oh, there's our physicals. As you guys see behind me, man, I rearranged my thing. I love my little physical wall. I love collecting physicals, man, and I think physicals, you know, DVDs is going to end up being like vinyl. It's only going to be a small percentage of us that's going to be buying it, you know. If you get the Gen Zs to start buying physical copies, then it'll go up. That's what you need. You need the Gen Zs to buy it. Gen Zs are starting to get into physical collecting. But what I'm saying is, if the Gen Zs are the ones that go out here and start doing stuff, then that's the ones that's going to get the money. You know, Gen Zs are the ones you need to get out there and you know, buy physical copies. So it's so much deeper than that. You know, like I said, I sit back, man, all this, you know, Netflix hate. I was like, man, it'd be funny if Netflix just pulls out. Just says, hey, man, we're just going to pull out, man. Y'all go ahead and y'all can argue over that stuff, man. Go ahead, have at it. And then just be no comment. That way all the YouTubers and all the news outlets said Netflix has no comment. Netflix has no comment. There's no, we tried to go to the Netflix CEO or whatever. They just said they just didn't say, no, we don't want to comment on the situation. We pulled out and that's it. Y'all can argue. Y'all can argue with your theories and all that, and your physical copies ain't gonna never be made and all that kind of crap. I mean, you got companies not making, you know, manufacturing. What was that? That's supposed to be shutting down, making Blu-rays or something. I forgot, but it's just so much more deeper than that. It's so much more deeper than that. But yeah, I'm all about the theatrical experience. I love going to theaters. I'm excited about seeing the movie next week. I'm excited about seeing, I think there's a movie coming out in March, and I think, you know, and then there's a lot of movies that are kind of like small indie movies that I'll go to a theater, and I'll just go to like a 10 or 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I enjoy it, man. I sit in there and just enjoy it. So anyway, what do you guys think? We'll catch you next video. God bless.